to the first segment of Life at the Moment in 2 years. That is insane. For those of you who are new here to the channel, check out this video for more information on what the difference is between the Life at the Moment segment and the Karen show. I also just want to say that I was watching this video now again and I was like, wow, I was very real in terms of the dryness of my personality, if I can call it that. But it really made me laugh. Some of you might like it, some of you won't, but just check it out. Okay, so what has been going on with my life for the past 2 years? It's actually like 2.5 to be quite honest. I think the last video I made was in May of 2023. So number one, let's do some career highlights because I think that's like the most that's happened. I have been a whole working adult. It's been a process of getting more hours in terms of the work that I do because I'm an independent contractor. So I teach music, piano and voice at schools. So it's not a permanent job. So you determine your hours, but obviously in correlation with the hours the school has available for you. I've been fortunate enough to be able to kind of pace myself. I did come from a burnout like 4 years ago. That obviously played a role in terms of why I could phase into more working hours. So that's been quite a thing, okay? Financial independence is a real thing as an adult and really having to manage your money well. I've not always had an issue with that, but I'm financially independent now, so I've got to manage it really well. So that's been quite an adjustment. Adulting is quite something, you know, so if you're in school, enjoy not having to be financially independent. I know people are always like, I'm aware, like, do this thing, do this thing, do this thing, but seriously, do it. Like, enjoy not being financially independent. And if you can make your own money, go for it, but that's not the point of this video. So that's that. I have had the privilege of performing with various philharmonic orchestras in South Africa. So I've performed with the Mzansi Philharmonic Orchestra, Johannesburg, the JPO, and with KZNPO, so KwaZulu-Natal Philharmonic Orchestra. And that has been such a wave of excitement. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm a classically trained musician, and with the orchestra, obviously, it's predominantly classical based. The songs that we were singing were pop or contemporary, but just the sound of the orchestra behind you and you being able to be supported by all of these instrumentalists and musicians, that feeling is honestly beyond amazing. I'm a classical pianist, so we always play on our own. So having that kind of support on a stage has just been amazing. A lot of growth and CV building. What else has happened? In 2024 and 2025, I was also privileged to perform at the Theater Stellenbosch Voortwees. As a Maties alumni, this has been such a silent dream come true. I've grown so much as a creative and as an artist because of these opportunities, and I am just beyond grateful. I have released original music. I remember the very first song that I ever wrote was, I think I was in grade 11, and the friend I had at school, she taught me a few chords on the guitar. I remember that's like, the way you're always there for me. And obviously since then I've been writing songs. So the fact that I could release original music is insane. Obviously I released an indie, so that was also a big, I want to say, tick in terms of, I guess, what I could do on my own. Just the independence of everything. And that's the debut EP, I'm Free. 5 original songs, and all of them also, it's such a reflection of the diversity I have to offer in terms of my songwriting skills, but also in terms of producing, because I co-produced with Spencer Kennedy and with Damien Roman, so that was really cool. And then I also released a Christmas single. I did an acoustic version as well. I've been seeing people doing that, and I am an acoustic person with a piano, so I did that. And I was really fortunate as well to be able to do that, using gig money to do these things, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, so so that was really cool. I've also moved like 1 million times. I've met incredible people in this past 2.5 years, people that have come and gone on my path, but some that's also just made such an impact. And yeah, I'm grateful for that. I'm also grateful for my students. I think some of my students have shown me just how hard it can be to have kids, but also just how every person is individual. And I've been privileged enough to experience adapting my teaching to the personalities that I am teaching. And that's, I was educated in my degree on learner-centered teaching, and I've been privileged enough to actually delve deeper into that and do it in practice. So I look forward to growing even more in terms of being a practitioner in education. But yeah, in this past 2.5 years, I've just experienced grace upon grace in terms of how God has moved me around, how He has strengthened me, how He's shaken me in ways that I didn't necessarily want Him to, but that He did, and how He kept me through all of that. So yes, there's a lot of highlights that I have, but they've also been difficult things that I've gone through, but I can really say that God has kept me, and He's held me in His arms, and He's loved me even when I didn't necessarily want His way of loving me. But He's been loving me and showing me that He cares about me more than I can imagine. And I think a big thing for me, just wanting to give God the glory for growing me in my identity in Him and in Him alone. Because there's so many things we define ourselves by that's not God, and that's not eternal, and I think the moment we value ourselves according to things that can end and can die, ons is onrustig, and we become agitated, we become jealous, we become conceited, because we always feel like we need to be better than others in this thing, because that is our value. And so if I'm not better than you, this is just an example at being a pianist, then I have no value. And that's just that God's been really working on me in terms of that, and just trusting that, when He says that I'm fearfully and wonderfully made, that means that that's eternal, because His word is eternal. Flesh is as grass. The grass withers and the flower fades, but the word of God stands forever. So if my identity is in His word, then that means it's eternal. And that means that it doesn't even compare to the things that the world wants me to have my identity in, which is the way that I dress, or the way that I play the piano, or the way that I look, or even relationships, So that's definitely a big thing that I've got to give God the glory for. I've started the journey 5 years ago, but the past 2.5 years have really been, just more strengthening in that. And I pray God will continue to help me and others through me sharing these videos on my channel to get to that place. And if you're not a Christian, I almost want to say I'm sorry, but I am a Christian, and I'm going to share my real experiences. I know that you could also learn from it, but even if you don't, I pray that God would bless you. And for those that are Christian, may God bless you too, because this channel is not just for those that serve the Lord. Otherwise, why would I be doing it? #making disciples. That's it for today. I'm doing this whole thing. I'm still here. Yo guys, life, and this end of the year thing where I'm like, what does this even mean? Like, how do people work till the odd hours of December? How do people do that? How do they afford the strength? Because I don't have the words. Okay. But anyway, ta-ta.